All right, guys, today we're going to talk about tips and commissions. Tips and commissions work virtually the same way, so we're going to talk about them at the same time. We're going to start off our vocabulary. The definition of tip: a tip is a gift of money over and above amount, whew, tongue tied. A tip is a gift of money over and above payment due. It's an addition to a bill, aka gratitude. All right, so I'm learning how to talk my Invisalign in, so that's like why I like stutter and talk like Daffy Duck sometimes. So you can make fun of me, it's all right. The next one is commission. So commission is an amount of money a person makes or earns, you can use either or, for selling something, usually a percent of what they earn. So going back to tip, Um, think about when you guys go to like your favorite restaurant and you had a great server, they're awesome, they filled up your drinks fast, they asked you how you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. Usually, whenever that bill comes, they'll give you a bill for what you ordered, so your food and your drinks. But then there's a section where it says tip, and you can tip that server a percent because, depending on how good they were. Even if I have like the worst service ever, I always try to tip at least like 20%. But if that server was like awesome, you can say, okay, I'm gonna tip this server 25% of that bill or 30% of that bill, and that server gets that tip. So that tip goes straight to that server. Commission's a little bit different, but it works the same way as far as when we're calculating it. When I was a senior in high school and for a couple years in college, I worked at Finish Line for a part-time job. Finish Line is a shoe company, and at Finish Line, we would get commission on the shoes that we sold. Usually, you will get a higher commission for the less popular shoes. So if you sold a pair of like retro Air Jordans, you weren't going to get commission because like everybody's buying those. But if you were able to sell like a pair of like old school dad mowing the lawn shoes, then you would probably get like a 40% commission on selling those shoes that nobody wants. So if that shoe was like $40 and you got a 40% commission for that, you were going to get a pretty nice chunk of money for selling those shoes. So it kind of motivated us to sell some of those less popular items. All right, so we're going to move on down to how to actually find tips and commission. Step one, we're going to change the percent to a decimal. Step two, we're going to multiply. We're going to multiply the decimal with the total bill or the amount of money or the amount of sales from the problem. This will be your tip or commission. Step three, if the final question is asking for the total cost or salary, you're going to add your tip or commission to the original bill or salary. All right, so we're going to do a couple of examples. The first one says Susie ate out and wanted to leave a 20% tip for her waiter. The food total came out to be $15. How much will her total bill be before? I'm sorry, how much will her total bill be before tax? All right, so we're not worried about tax here. We're just worried about figuring out how much the bill is going to be, including the tip. So she tipped 20%. There's two ways we could do this. We could say, all right, let's go ahead and find what 20% of $15 is going to be. And when we do this, we're going to figure out what her tip actually was. So, like step one says, we're going to change our percent to a decimal by moving our decimal two places over. Now we have 2/10. Of tells us to multiply. We're going to drop our dollar sign, and now we have 15. So we're going to multiply 15 times 2/10. I'll move my decimal one place over, and now I have 3. So now I know that I'm going to add 3 to 15, and that's going to get me $18. $3 represented our tip, $15 represented how much the bill was, and now $18 represents what our total price would be after we add them together. Now, the shortcut would be if you just wanted to find that total bill right off the bat, we would say, all right, if we're talking about we're going to add in 20%, we could just do 100, I'm sorry, we could do 120% of $15. All right, 120% is a decimal, is going to get you 1 2/10 of, tells you to multiply, and you'll just simply multiply 15 times 1 2/10, and that'll get you 18. So either one of those methods would work. All right, example 2 is a commission question, so it's working the same. Today's notes for Contact Lily talking about tip, but commission works the same way as well. All right, let's look at number 1. It says Jenny's family spends $62.50 on dinner. They want to leave a 20% tip. What is the total bill going to be including the tip? All right, so we're looking for what the total bill is going to be including the tip. So I'm going to find 20% of $62.50. Of tells us to multiply. 20% as a decimal. Oh, why is it moving around like that? That was weird. 20% as a decimal is going to be 2/10. And then I'm going to drop my dollar sign, bring down 62, and I could also drop the 0 at the end. So now I have 2/10 times 62 and 5/10. So we're going to multiply those together. I'm going to move my decimal 2 places over. And now we know that our tip is going to be $12.50. Our next step is going to be adding our tip to our original price. So I'm going to add $62.50 to $12.50. So now we know that our total price is going to be $75. And of course, the other way that we could have done it, we could have said, all right, we're going to leave a 20% tip. The total bill, or the bill, was $62.50. So that was 100% of the price. But we want to raise it another 20%. So we would try to find 120% of $62.50. So we'll move our decimal 2 places over, and that gets us 1.2. Of tells us to multiply. I'm sorry, I forgot my dollar sign. We'll drop our dollar sign, and we can drop our 0 at the end, and we'll do the same thing, but we'll end up with 75. All right, so you guys can pause the screen, freeze the screen, and you could do those last 3 practice problems there as well. But those conclude our notes. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.